Let's take a look at some of the pregame duties that our officials should be observing during the warm-up period. In this diagram for our crew of two, we have our referee umpire 28-foot mark observing the warm-ups of both teams. Let's take a look at some of the pregame duties for our officials for this crew of two. We should have some flexibility in where we stand. While mechanically we should be standing at the 28-foot mark, we can stand a little closer to the division line, preferably staying out of the way of our team's warm-ups if they have entire use of their particular front court. And as a crew, we still may be having our pregame discussion. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. We should be checking the legality of uniforms and equipment. If there is a player who may not be properly equipped, then that's something we probably want to address with the head coach or if assistant coach is possible. If possible, I always recommend not interrupting the warm-ups of our bench personnel during this time. Let the head coach or assistant coach know. Next, we should be observing the warm-up for our teams, getting an idea of who's who and what's what. Skill level, and a player dribble left, and they dribble right, and they dribble both sides. We have jump shooters, post players, things of that nature. Next, let's ensure that all our court markings are visible. Next, we should ensure that both teams have turned in their rosters by the 10-minute mark. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not having teams enter in the scorebook by the 10-minute mark. This is just ensuring that the teams have their rosters turned into the table by the 10-minute mark. If they're working on the rosters and making an effort to get that done, let's be flexible and work with our teams. Now, if it's way past the 10-minute mark and the rosters have not been turned in, then enforce the rules as necessary. Next, we should check the legality of the game balls. Notice that's plural. Usually teams will have one game ball, but they can have 2 or 3 game balls available just in case something happens. For the primary game ball, that would be great for the contest. We should ensure that the clock and scoreboard are functioning properly. It's because the time is ticking off the clock. There's seemingly no issue. Does not mean that we don't check. Let's make sure that the score for both sides works, the timeout for both sides works, the foul count for both sides works, quarter indicator works, and let's ensure that the buzzer or horn makes a loud enough sound where everybody in the facility can hear it. Also, while we're performing our pregame duties, especially prior to the pregame conference, let's ensure that our benches for high school start at the 28-foot mark and extend to the end lines of the front court for both teams. These are many of the pregame duties that we should observe and perform before starting the contest. So once we enter the playing facility or the confines of the playing court, we have more than enough to do for officials, as officials rather, prior to the start of the contest.